All right.
Hello, hello, Vadim.
Oh, jeez. You scared me there. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What are we doing today?
Yeah.
Oh, we're back in action. We're back
Yeah,
at
we're
it.
back in action. Yeah, yeah.
Pulpy
We're back
Hideout.
at it.
The Pulpy Hideout is back.
That's
Like
it.
back,
Multi
like back.
Hideout is back, and
You like Backstreet Boys back in the day.
yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
We're back like
Uh,
Backstreet Boys, man. Yeah.
yeah,
Ready?
yeah, yeah.
So I'm ready to
Returning from the dead.
bust some moves right now. You know, I'm ready for
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah, so today we'll be discussing a little movie that we both watched. It was my
Indeed.
recommendation that you watch it. It's a folk horror story. It's a Russian movie, and it's based on a tale by an author called Gogol, who wrote, I believe it was a short novella.
Indeed.
He wrote it back in, I
Go,
believe it was in the 60s,
did
because
you
the movie
say
was made in 1967.
what was the name? Gobble.
Gogol.
Goggle. Sorry, Goggle.
Yeah,
So it's a weird name, but cool. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
well, it was
Yeah. So,
it was a Soviet movie, I would say.
yes, you're right. Yeah, it was a Soviet movie. Yeah,
Yeah, man. And
yeah, yeah. It was made in the 60s and 1967. So the name of the movie is V, and
okay, is that how you
I'll
say it?
just
Because
quickly
I
read
didn't want
out the
to. I didn't
summary
want to
of the
say it
movie.
until you. Wait a second. Can you say the title again?
That's how you pronounce it.
Say
V.
say it again. V. See, the
V.
people at home
Yeah.
need to know that you're from that side of the woods. So I was waiting for you to say the title before I said it because yeah, I didn't want to say it wrong. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. Is that how you sort of pronounced it in your mind?
I don't know. I was saying V or
V? Yeah,
V
yeah, yeah,
or I don't know.
yeah,
A
yeah,
Aaron.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool sounding title. It's a weird title.
yeah. Yeah, it's a weird title. Yeah. It means it's got something to do with the eyes, the eyelids. But we'll discuss that later,
Oh, cool.
because the meaning's basically at the end. Um, so the summary of the movie is a young priest is ordered to preside over the wake of which a small old wooden church of a remote village. This means spending 3 nights alone with a corpse with only his faith to protect him. Getting lost. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's a bad summary. All right, take two. A student,
Oh,
a students of a.
were you
I'll cut that bit
were
out.
you reading the wrong film?
No, it's from IMBD, and it gave this weird
I'm-
summary. Okay. As the students of a Kiev seminary are sent home for vacation, three of them become lost in the countryside in the middle of the night. They spot a farmhouse and ask the old woman at the gate to let them in and spend the night. She agrees on the condition that they sleep in the separate areas of the farm. As one of the students, Brutus, lies down in the barn to sleep, the old woman tries to seduce him, which he staunchly refuses. She hypnotizes him, climbs on his back, and rides him across the countryside like a horse. Koma suddenly finds that they are flying and realizes that she is a witch. Invoking the name of Christ, he forces her to land and beats her violently with a stick until she turns into a beautiful young woman who cries out that he's killing her. And, that's basically the beginning of the movie. This is how the movie starts off. Um, yeah, so what did you think of it?
Yeah, well, okay. So I first came across it when online this clip came up, and it was basically scenes from the film. Um, well, scenes from the church. The three nights at the church, and it had
Yep.
this modern techno music on, and it just looked amazing. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" It just looked unbelievable. And so then, yeah, I asked you about it because I know you're from, it's from your childhood. You would know about it. It's from your country, and yeah, and then you told me about it, and so yeah, I say that because for me, the experience of watching it was that it has some really cool visuals in it that are really impressive for the time, 1967, and basically, I thought that it's a film. For me, the film is the third act. Really, I like the beginning when they show the countryside. I like to see the folk story, the towns, the background. I thought that it was better when there was real footage instead of the paintings. The paintings took me out of it a little bit. They looked a little artificial. Um, that scene with the old woman, that they're fly. She takes him and flies. That was really effective, really cool. The effect was really cool. And once he goes to the place where the witch has died, where he's responsible for her death, you know, um, then it really the film for me really kicks off. And I was kind of like, I felt because of that. I felt half full. I felt like it was you know I didn't feel satisfied overall from the experience. Um, for me, what makes the film fantastic is what the three nights, especially night one and night three. Night one, the guy puts this. What was it that he puts? Makes a circle with. What does he make the circle of? Do you remember?
I think it was chalk.
Chalk. Yeah, he just uses chalk. Yeah, he makes the
Yeah,
circle, the
chalk.
protective circle, and then
Mm.
the witch, awakens, and she's really cool, man. Like her face is it's amazing, man. I love the way she looked. I wouldn't fucking put a circle. I'll be let her catch me. I don't care. Like I wouldn't. Yeah. But yeah, she gets up and she's got the face and she wants to get to him and then she can't and then she does this movement. She starts going around in circle and it's doing this weird thing and it's just mesmerizing the way it's done. It's just mesmerizing. And then the second night it wasn't as effective for me. And then the third night it's just kicks off because she goes mental and then she's like starts invoking all creatures, werewolves, vampires, and you see them just coming out of weird places in the church, out of the floor, out of paintings, and out of the corners, the cricks in the corners. And everybody's gathering around. He's like, "Oh shit! There's so much evil coming towards me," and he's shitting himself. He's done the circle and shitting himself. And then what's really cool about it is like, she's like, "Okay, screw this shit. I'm done playing games. I'm gonna summon V." And when she says it, everybody, all the monsters, like these are scary mummies and werewolves and vampires and ghouls and goblins, they all shit themselves. And I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? Wow, oh my god, that's gonna be something so horrible that even the scary creatures of the night are afraid of it. So I thought that was really cool. And then that thing comes, and it's a cool design for the time. It's a cool design for the time. It couldn't live up to the expectation by that point. It just couldn't live up to the expectation, but it's still cool. Um, so yeah, that and then he escapes, or no, he dies, doesn't he? Does he die? He dies in it. Yeah, which is was
Yeah,
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 yeah. Sorry for the
yeah,
spoilers, but yeah, we should have mentioned our our talks are always full of spoilers. But
yeah. Well, it's a discussion, so
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Our audience are aware of it, and it's an old movie from 1967. So yeah.
indeed. Um, about those nights though, it's like they're so quick. Again, I was unsatisfied. It's like a cool thing happens. She wakes up and it's like, wow, here we go, let's go. And then she's trying to get to him. It lasts a couple of minutes, and then it's daytime. And I'm like, it can't be daytime already. It's too quick. So it's like
Mm.
daytime will arrive so quickly. I would have liked to see him struggle more. I would have liked to see him start to go insane, like, waiting for the daytime to arrive. And yeah, so for also, yeah, like I think it's a type of film that I never want to see films being remade for the most part, but I feel like that would be one film that would warrant a remake because there's a lot there that wasn't explored, in my opinion, and I think it would work really well to be remade. You know, so yeah, that's more or less what I think of it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't feel satisfied from it. I think it has some really cool ideas in it, some really cool visuals, um, but it's not. It doesn't have much in terms of characterization and story development and all that stuff. And there's a lot in there that could have been longer, But in terms of if you're looking for folklore stories, it has the atmosphere. It has it's really worth a watch. So I'm passing the baton to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I 100% agree with what you're saying. And for me, and the reason I asked, here on the Pulpy Hideout, we're always into sort of unique boutique movies from the, you know, I mean, we're going to go back probably as far as back as the early 1900s and so on. So 1960s is, it's not that old for us what we do here on Pulpy Hideout. We discuss all this old
So
stuff, pulp stuff. So, and one of the reasons I asked you to watch this movie, it's very unique and it's not very well known in the West, in the English speaking world. In fact, I think this movie is getting a lot more popularity with the Blu ray release, which I'm going to showcase another time. But this movie was released and made popular because it was done properly, cleaned up, and everything by Severin Films, the company that put this movie out and gave it a special treatment.
oh, nice. Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I think it started to have a sort of a bit of a cult following, and it is part of the folklore collection, Volume One, that Severin put out later on. They did a special box set combining all the folk horror movies from around the world, and V is one of the movies that is on the disc in that box set as well. Again, it's something that I will show later on. It is sort of the the prize of my collection. So there's two volumes that's been put out by Severin Films now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Folklore horror stories, one and two as well. So I'm going to showcase these later on. It's a wonderful
Well,
collection.
I'm
But
looking
anyway,
forward to it. That's for sure.
yeah, it's amazing, and uh, folk horror is probably like my favorite genre in horror movies. So um, yeah, it's I love it. I loved it since I was a kid because in you know in the Soviet Union days, when we talk about horror, it was a lot like we didn't have jump scare movies. I mean, they were there, but they were more sort of psychological thrillers, horror movies, right? And a lot of folklore and folk horror stuff. That's what we watched. That's what we grew up on. And I remember I didn't, when I was growing up in Ukraine, I didn't watch the whole movie. But I did see sort of bits and pieces on TV. And I remember the bit that I saw was the one where, at the beginning of the movie, when they walk in, they're lost, and they walk into this house, and the witch, and oh my god, I think I must have been probably about 5 or 6 years old when I first saw that. It scared the shit out of me because as a kid, what scared me the most is the story of the witches, or in Ukraine and like the Soviet Union, we call them Baba Yaga. They were the scariest stories for me. And man, like I was always afraid, back in Ukraine, because you have a lot of, like the old ladies, they like to sit on benches outside on the street eating semichki seeds and talk about people. And these ladies scared the shit out of me because of movies like this, right? But that's typical sort of Russian babushka, and yeah, that look, that Baba Yaga, like that, when they walk in and this old lady greets them straight away, something's not right. Like just the look on her face. And another fact point is here is that the witch, the person that plays the witch, is not actually a woman; it's a man.
I thought so. I thought so. I thought he looked
Yeah,
like a man. Yeah.
yeah,
I was going to ask
it's
you
a
actually.
male. Yeah,
I
it's
was going to ask you
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's just the look on his face, and I remember it just petrified me as a kid. And I also believe, with movies like that, it's probably a little bit difficult to appreciate and understand for some Western audience to know actually what's going on, because when you watch a movie like V, um, you have to fully appreciate it. You have to, I think, understand the Russian way of life. When I say Russian, I mean plural, as Russian, Ukrainian. I
Yeah.
mean actually Soviet, but I'm going to be saying
Yeah.
Russian
Yeah.
here, okay? Because it is, even though this movie was shot in Ukraine, but it is a Russian movie. They speak Russian, even though they use some Ukrainian in there as well, but it is a Russian movie, right? So to fully appreciate, I think you have to understand Russian culture and Russian way of life, especially back in those days, back in the Soviet Union days. Um, you understand a little bit more about the movie, because if you actually watch this movie, and when you do watch it, there's sprinkles in there of what it was like back in the day, to live in Russia, right? From the stories where, like the lifestyle, the village lifestyle, to I don't know if you noticed, but in the movie, the prized possession is basically vodka.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's drunk all the time, right?
Well, I was gonna
Um,
say everybody's miserable and drunk throughout the film.
Miserable and drunk, and
Yeah.
that's what life was like.
Uh,
Even and another thing with a movie like that, a lot of these horror movies, folklore horror movies, were always based in like in real life event and real history, right? This is this movie was, they don't say the year, but it was probably, I reckon, maybe around 17, 1800s, maybe somewhere there,
mhm, mhm.
right? Um, and like when like living over there, you always hear stories like that. When you go to someone's house and they put out alcohol, especially in cold winter, you drink and you just tell stories to each other. And a lot of it is like folklore horror stuff like that you would tell your friends, like scary stories about Baba Yaga. You know, they go into this woman's house and they never come out, and just crazy stuff like that, and a lot of supernatural stuff as well.
I want to add
Um,
something
so
here.
that,
So if I could
yeah,
just say that you don't need to
yeah,
be afraid of Baba Yaga anymore, Vadim, because
yeah.
now you know the truth. You know,
I know now. I know
no,
that Santa Claus is not real as
no,
well. So
no. I
yeah,
mean, no. I mean, you know now that Baba Yaga is John Wick, so you don't have to be afraid anymore.
John Wick.
Yeah,
How's that?
they
How
call
does that
him the
work?
Baba.
I,
They call him the Baba
oh, they
Yaga.
call him the. Oh, right, in the movie. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you. I
So
understand. Yeah,
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 there. See,
yeah,
now you know. You know, it's a good thing.
yeah.
Just as
Oh,
long as
yeah, yeah. No.
you don't kill his dog, you're okay. You know.
I'm in big trouble then. Yeah. Um, yeah, and look, to me, this movie is very special, right? I mean, it's something that I grew up with, and like I said, watching it again, and obviously, you look at its faults, which there are many. It's not a perfect movie, and like you mentioned, that the story wasn't fully developed, and I agree with you. The story is actually very confusing, and then when I watched it, I actually watched it in the Russian language because I wanted, the full immersive experience.
Me too.
Um,
Uh,
and
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you did with subtitles,
yeah,
yeah?
because
Okay, yeah,
we
yeah,
started in English dubbed, and it was just for me it just
yep,
looked silly, and I wanted the authentic
yeah.
to be as authentic as possible with it. And when once we put the Russian, it just gave it an extra level to of immersion.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure,
So I
for
would
sure.
recommend people
Uh,
to watch it with subtitles. It's in the original
yeah,
language. You know.
for sure, for sure. And yeah, so like as I was saying, it does have lots of faults and it doesn't have a fully developed story. And even when I watched it and like listened to it in Russian, obviously, and without the subtitles, and the story was just, to me, it was a little bit confusing as well. And yeah, like you said, silly bits where there are a lot of silly bits in terms of well, you go, okay, well, what he goes in at night and the daytime happens just so quick before you know it, it's daytime, right? um, and yeah, look, there were a lot of faults that I saw with the movie, but it's still got its charm, and you can see that it was done on the budget. It was actually made for about 50,000 Soviet rubles, which even back in those days, it wasn't that much for a movie like that. It was a tight budget. Um, I believe I've never read the Nikolai Gogol novella. That's what it's based on. But you can see that they used some shortcuts to finish the movie. Right? It's only 76 minutes. It's not that long.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I feel like they put a lot of effort and money into the ending bit of the movie because
Yeah,
the ending is a masterpiece. It's a visual masterpiece. Even for a movie back in the 60s, I reckon that ending, where all the monsters, goblins, vampires, and all that come out. And I don't know if you noticed, but also they were doing like hand puppet things with hands,
yes,
the
yes, yes,
creating the shadow.
yeah,
Yeah. Even though with our modern eye we can see that now, but still, it's genius to make
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
They were
It
using,
was ahead of its time. Yeah,
yeah, they used a lot of techniques, practical
yeah,
techniques in that sequence, and
yeah,
it's an amazing sequence, and it sets up the actual main event of the film. You know, the creature itself.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah, and I also believe that the plot holes in the movie are also because of its time, budget constraints, and its time as well, right?
yeah, yeah, because it's very
Like
quick. It's very,
yeah,
yeah. That's why I'm saying it wasn't satisfied because I wanted more of because it was
yeah,
so enjoyable, but there wasn't enough there for me. You know, and for sure that has to do with budget restraints and time restraints and all that stuff. You know, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, overall, it's I in my eyes, it's a masterpiece of movie, and it's a must watch if you're into sort of unique boutique
Oh, absolutely,
um,
absolutely.
horror movies. This is, and overall, I do encourage people to watch um, sci-fi and horror movies from the old Soviet days. They're amazing. Some of them are masterpieces. Like Stalker is another good one to watch, and yeah, like back in those days, USSR. They had a lot of constraints because there isn't a lot of things that they could sort of portray as they wanted to because the government wouldn't just allow to show anything and everything, right? So a lot of these movies that were made, some of them were actually banned and not shown,
Yeah,
until probably after the Soviet Union fell apart and all that. So they're very special movies, and they must be seen.
Stalker is by the guy that did Solaris, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
the same
Yep.
filmmaker. I can't remember his name right now, but he's one of the
Yeah, I
considered
can't
one
remember
of
his
the
name.
greats alongside
Yep.
Kurosawa and Kubrick and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and also Stalker is based on
let me see his
the
name.
video game. Uh,
Is it based on a video game?
yeah,
Oh, it's not coming. Why isn't it coming
yeah,
up? The name
or
of
the
the
video game.
Solaris.
Sorry, it's the other way around. The video game is based on the movie.
Oh, that makes more sense because the movie is,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly. That makes more
yeah,
sense. Tarkovsky, of course.
it's a
Andrei Tarkovsky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Tarkovsky. Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic movie. So yeah, it's and see like the if you draw a connection between V and say a movie like Stalker, I haven't seen it, but I've seen sort of bits and pieces,
yeah,
and
me
I know
too.
what the story was about, and I played the games and all that kind of stuff. But they're all, even a movie like V, I think it's a thinking movie. Stalker is a thinking movie as well. You know, it's one of those movies that when you finish watching, still stays with you. It's sort of like a psychological,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's a psychological movie. You
Well,
you have to think, you have to use your brain.
so
It's not just
yeah.
jump scares. And I'm sure there isn't any jump scares, but it makes you think, basically, right?
Same with Solaris. It's
Yeah,
meditative type of
yeah.
filmmaking. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those type of movies force you to use your brain,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, 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 and that's how all the Soviet movies are. You know, there isn't, you know, like, oh, we're aliens or whatever. Actually, a lot of Soviet sci-fi, I believe, they like to do the type of sort of post-apocalyptic world, Mad Max type world, that type of stuff. Yeah, and something to do with humans. It's a lot about humanity.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. With what it means to be human and
sci-fi.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what it means to be human.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So again, you know, we sort of drew on some similarities between Soviet horror and sci-fi movies,
Yeah.
um, and this what they all have in common. And you know, a lot of them also were done, and you know, a lot of them were based on stories, books. And again, not a lot of people could read them back in the day because a lot of them were banned and were available much later after the collapse of Soviet Union.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
I don't know if you've heard of, I think they called the Strugatskys brothers, if that's how you pronounce it. They wrote two brothers. They were science fiction writers.
Oh
They
yeah.
wrote Roadside Picnic,
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. Oh, okay.
a book called
And they were
Roadside
banned.
Picnic.
Those.
It's sci-fi. It's again, it's very similar to sort of Stalker, post-apocalyptic world, but it wasn't available until, like, in the Soviet Union, until, you know, much later, like in the 90s. It was banned because some of the
Mhm.
ideas were portrayed as sort of anti-communist,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the government would ban them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So there was a lot of talent that wasn't recognized back in those days. That's, you know, coming out, you know, like in the 90s and 2000s, and recognized now among sort of film collectors and film lovers of that type of stuff. So yeah, and it should be. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
overall, you know, my childhood movie, I asked you to watch it, and I wanted to see your reaction, and especially, you know, for you, because you're, you know, you don't have the background that I do, and the connection to this movie as I do. And like I said, you know, you just got to watch out for these bits, but you probably picked up on it, you know, about the, you know, miserable life and drinking vodka. And at the end of the movie, I just want to mention this. You know how the two guys outside the monastery, they sort of get together and they start talking about Comma, the lead actor in the
Yeah.
movie, the lead protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Um, because he dies at the end. So what happens is they talk amongst themselves outside, and they go, "Oh, did you hear what happened to Comma? Like, he went, you know, he did this for 3 nights, blah blah,
Yeah.
and nobody ever heard of him again." And it's this is how you tell. Folk stories to each other, right? Oh, you know, this guy, he went to this woman's house, he never came out again, and blah
And
blah,
they were
like, you
drinking.
know,
Yeah.
she must be a witch. And they were drinking, exactly. But you know, like, it's so funny because and they're like supposed to be these religious Orthodox monastery people, right? And they were drinking, but why? Because it was part of Russian life. Everybody drank, right? Whether you were a religious person, whether you were a what do you call it, a like the head monk or whatever of the church, everybody drank. That was part of the Russian lifestyle, right? Um,
Another thing I noticed.
and it shows. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it definitely shows, man. But another thing I noticed, and tell me if you noticed it as well, is that even though the film takes place um, in a time where back then religion would play a major part in the lives of the people, and it features,
yeah,
a lot. It features the church and
yep,
and monks. Overall, it doesn't present the film doesn't present religion in a good light. That's what I took from
yeah,
it. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It was harsh. Yeah,
yeah.
it was a harsh environment.
It didn't. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm like, do you think that had to do also with the film coming out in '67 under the communist Soviet regime? Do you think that played a part in how?
yeah. You're right. That could possibly be because religion wasn't seen in a good light in the
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
in the
that,
Soviet time.
yeah,
No, no, you're perfectly right. Mm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it left an
and
impression on me.
I guess you would like from your background, right? Greek background. That would be the lifestyle and the village lifestyle and the monastery and all that because Ukraine was very orthodox. And you can see that there, right? It
Yeah,
would have some similarities to
yeah,
sort of life in Greece. Yeah,
yeah. But if this was Greek, you would be every other word would be about Jesus, and there would be crosses, and there would be
yeah,
like religion would be so much into the film, more into the film
yeah,
in a yeah. And in this one, it's like the monks in the beginning are telling sex jokes and making fun of things, and they're like there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
respect for religion or anything like that. Like it's very
yeah.
very cold.
And you're right. And I think it should have been like that. It should
Mm.
have the religion bit should have been turned up a bit, but because of the times
Yeah,
it was made,
that's what
and
I'm thinking. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they couldn't do it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, look, it's overall, yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. Um, and it was done by it was distributed by Moss Film. Moss Film was a very well the largest company distribution company in Russia in Moscow. They would put out a lot of the big. It was sort of equivalent to Warner Brothers nowadays, right? Um, and each city had their own distribution, but Mosfilm was probably the largest in the Soviet Union at the time. Um, yeah, no, great movie. I do encourage people to watch it. Um, it will sort of teach you a lot about movies and the
Yeah,
way movies are made,
yeah, absolutely.
cinematography, lighting, atmosphere. Don't worry about so much about the plot if you can't follow it, but just relax and enjoy it. Enjoy the scenery and the environment and what the movie has to offer.
Really well said, man. Really well said. And yeah, I think we can end it here with those beautiful words. I think
Yep.
that captures it very
Yeah. Well,
well.
great.
Go out and watch this film.
Yeah.
It's highly recommended. And I think, yeah, I think that's it for today. What do you think, Vadim?
That's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Great.
And
Yeah.
I look forward to the
All
next
right.
one,
Well,
man.
thank you for your time, buddy. Yeah.
Thank you, and I
That's it.
really enjoyed it, and I look forward to the next one.
For sure. Me too. All right.
All right, check you later. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.